Hey, Hurricane here. Welcome to my video. I'm just coding here the patch note that Blizzard is gonna release on March 5 for the new mid-season update. We're just getting basically new vampire powers back, 6 of them. We're getting a cross touch, really interesting as they combine it with Prey on the Weak. So now you're only using one power to put enemies vulnerable. Really good for many builds that they're really not required right now to use specific skills to make enemies burnable. You just slap this power in and basically you're putting every enemy burnable. This is pretty interesting. Metamorphosis, quite good for your evades. It becomes unstoppable. Pairs pretty well with T-Ball as well. It got a cooldown increase once you use it. My guess is they're just trying to avoid people spamming to get resources back, but I don't think it's gonna be bad for the damage. T-Balls will give you a damage buff for while you're unstoppable and plus 4 seconds more, so you're not gonna be losing the damage buff, but it's gonna be like tricky to just spam it to get resources back. We got Blood Boiling, really good for overpower builds, pretty good for Barb, Necromancer. We got Hectic. This is actually interesting. They buff Hectic. There's basically 5 basic attack skills. It's gonna give you 4 seconds cooldown. You slap these on a necklace, and you're probably gonna get around almost 6 seconds cooldown reduction. That's incredible. We're getting Undying back, 2% life still, or light regen, 50% more, I guess. Supposedly give you double. I'm not sure what they say here. They heals you for an additional 1% of life. I get either they make a mistake here and they just restricted it. If you slap in on the this on the necklace, you're gonna get 3% life. Pretty good for many builds that requires a lot of healing. Moonrise, excellent for basic skill attacks builds. It also works on many builds. You're getting attack speed and movement speed for 10 seconds. That's incredible. As a general updates, now the Starless Sky Ring, it shows a buff on the bar. Penitence Creep, pretty interesting, got a buff of 5% damage. They buffed these pants. This pan is like a defensive pan to give you like more resistances. I still don't think people's gonna use this too much. Monster Break got buff. It's still probably a ring that if you find that while you're leveling up, you maybe use it. It's not something that you want to use later on. A few buff to like regular aspects like inner calm. Retribution got buff quite a bit. This could be pretty interesting to use, for example, with the rogue. There is a skill called Flurry, which got also reworked, and it stun enemies for 2.5 seconds and 25% increase multiplicative damage. Sounds pretty interesting. They reduce the starlight. This is a resource aspect. It gives you resources while you're healing. They brought it back from 25 to 20%. I still think that this is really not an aspect that you use a lot. Barbarian, buff across the board. Many basic skills got buff. And a few like passive for some other skills got buff. Like we got a buff on the Endless Fury. In the pattern board, they changed the glyph. Legendary aspect for the Iron Warrior. Now it's gonna give you more damage reduction. The Gorers, actually interesting, was brought back quite a bit. It used to be pretty good at the start of Diablo 4. They nerfed it, now they brought it back. Interesting. The Druid, for example, the same, many buffs to basic skills. A few other passive, massive buff to like companions, like Poison Creeper got another buff. This was already incredible. Now it's gonna be even more. You're gonna get 30% more damage and 40% more damage while you activate the skills. Passive to like Quick Shift. When you change, you transform to another like a wolf, or a werewolf, or a bear. Bestial Rampage or Seeing Strength. Basically just like a Perfect Storm, which is I think is the ultimate for the Druid. Got a buff. Legendary aspect got changed. This is for air skills. The Storm's Companion unique got also buff. This is actually interesting. Not many people use this, but this basically enables your companion, like the werewolf, to do lightning damage. Necromancer, buff across all the minions. Life and damage was increased. We'll have to see how good this buff was. Not sure it would still bring this up, or if it's consumable or not. Blood Surge, huge buff here. Now the Nova damage it got increased quite a lot. Sever got increased. That's the second time it gets a buff. It's a pretty good skill. Not many people use it, but it's quite good. Buff of the passive for the Sever got buff. Blight got buff. Core Explosions now it got buff. Probably trying to get people away from the shadow over time course explosions. Blood Wave damage increase it. Really like not a skill that like an ultimate that many people use. I'm not saying it's bad, it just doesn't do the damage. Dead Approach was changed from Dead Reach, movement speed across the board for the Necro, either via this passive on the skill tree and through the glyph. I think there was a glyph, Corporeal. Yeah, Corporeal was changed. Now give you movement speed for each active minion. They're probably like trying to give a speed, but also make it relevant so people use more minions. Basically everything just they changed Spike armor. It's not only gonna give you turns, also gonna give you armor now. A few legendary aspect got changed. The sorcerer didn't receive too much buff. It got a buff to bolt lightning. Hydra got buff. Probably Incinerate was the one that received a huge buff of 40%. Not sure if people still gonna use it, if this is enough to bring it out. We'll have to see how it plays out. A few passive got buff, like in the Lucky Hit champ for the Snap Freeze. You got Icy Veil that was the barrier duration was increased, but 3% increase. Not sure if is that you call that a buff, but it's still something. Quite a few pattern glyph was like rework or maybe rechange a bit. A few got buff. Generally just buff across the board for the sorcerer too. The rogue, we have two interesting buffers to like the range based skills, Heartseeker and Forceful Arrow. The attack speed and the frames interruption. It means that when the arrow travels to the mob, the enemy that you're attacking, the frames that it takes now it got lower. So that's you. It has an increasing attack speed and it's gonna travel faster too. Interesting. Flurry got a damage buff. Two of the Flurry passive got buffed too. So you're gonna be doing more damage just by hitting vulnerable enemies, and if you do like a bit more work and you evade through enemies, you're gonna hit them for 30%, plus you're gonna stun it for 2.5 seconds. Impaired with the retribution aspect, that this quite work pretty well. Rapid Fire got buff, Ring of Arrow got buff. Still not sure so many people like Ring of Arrow. It's pretty good, and now it got buff again. Precision received a huge buff. From 6 to 4, that reduces how many stacks you need to get the maximum benefit from precision. Infusion got buffs from 0.5 seconds to 1. Not sure if that is enough, but it's something. The legendary aspect for Flurry, which is in Cycling Blades, got buffed quite a bit. 7% more damage. I'm not sure if this will bring Flurry up in pair with Twisting Blades. We have to see. There's something that is really interesting is Branching Bullets, which is for Barrage. It got buffed quite a lot. We now have 60 to 80% increased damage. But that's the ricochet. No, that's actually the damage. I have 40 to 60% chance to split. If you pair this with a lot of lucky hit chance, that's probably gonna split quite a lot. Shadow Slicer, the aspect that when you dash, it creates like a shadow clone of you and it dashes to, it got increased by 200%. I'm not sure about this one. Nobody uses it, but that's a lot of increase. Eagle Horn was increased. Eye in the Dark. It's not a bad pan so far. It's very specific. The aspect doesn't mean that it's really good. But you have maximum life and damage reduction on the pans. And they have two offensive stats on the pants, and now the aspect got buffed to 70%. That's pretty interesting with the Death Trap build. That's gonna do a lot of damage. The Ring of the Bang of Trickery, this is the Malignant Heart that was given to the Rogue. The decoy was reduced to 10 seconds to summon it, like the cooldown. The decoy is doing more damage. Not sure if this is gonna bring that ring out. Probably not. We'll have to see. A few nerf and adjustment to the seneschal, probably like there was double deeping with the poison support stuff. going on, and I guess they fix it. And generally, just some bug fixes. One that is really good to mention: the precision and the weapon mastery passive for the rogue got fixed. I guess there was a weird interaction with that and was doing like double damage or something, and that was fixed. And probably just more fixes for the sorcerer free fate and the elemental summoner. You can check the full patch notes on the description. I'm gonna leave a link over there that you can check it out. I'm kind of excited. The most excited thing then, and I'm waiting for the gauntlet. I'm gonna try the gauntlets coming up, so that's pretty interesting to see how that work out. We have PTR coming up on probably a month before season 4. I'm also excited for that. I'm gonna see the itemization changes, which is probably the most important part of season 4, and we'll see. So far, it's just good news that Blizzard is bringing, so we just hope for the best. Thank you so much for dropping by and visiting my video. If you can leave me a follow and follow me on Twitch, Euroking will be really appreciated. As always, I wish you the best and God bless you.